Very good afternoon, students. In the last class, we focused regarding the aspects of gluconeogenesis, that is, the substrates which are involved in the gluconeogenesis, which are all the substrates which is required, that is, non-carbohydrate precursor molecules, and the first bypass reaction of gluconeogenesis we have gone through. So, in the last class, that is first bypass reaction, what it explains you, we have seen, right, that formation of phosphoenol pyruvate, right, pyruvate to oxaloacetate, then oxaloacetate to phosphoenol pyruvate. So once after the formation of phosphoenol pyruvate, you can see here in this slide, pyruvate to phosphoenol pyruvate. See, you can see here the cytosol and in the mitochondrion. So the conversion of pyruvate to oxaloacetate is taking place in the mitochondrion by the enzyme pyruvate carboxylase. It involves carbon dioxide molecule which was supplied by the bicarbonate ion, which where the biotin is required as a cofactor. So this formed oxaloacetate is further undergoing reactions of TCA cycle, that is in the mitochondrion it is taking place, right? So it is first getting converted into intermediates of TCA, that is oxaloacetate to alpha ketoglutarate to succinyl CoA to fumarate. You can see the precursor molecules which are involved in this right formation of oxaloacetate, which precursor is required, and formation of alpha ketoglutarate, the amino acid glutamate is required, as well as for the oxaloacetate also you require through transamination reaction aspartate molecule. Through transamination you will get oxaloacetate and succinyl CoA propionate, which is going to act as a precursor molecule, right? Likewise succinyl CoA to fumarate to malate. So now this malate which is formed is now shuttled, right, through the malate shuttle pathway or through the malate shuttle. So this malate is getting converted back to oxaloacetate also with the help of the same enzyme, that is malate dehydrogenase, mitochondrial malate dehydrogenase. Now this malate which is shuttled here, it is first undergoing reaction, that is with the cytosolic malate dehydrogenase. So cytosolic malate dehydrogenase enzyme is involved in the conversion of malate to oxaloacetate back, right? Cytosolic malate dehydrogenase, where mitochondrial malate dehydrogenase is involved in the conversion of malate to oxaloacetate. So once after the shuttling, so this malate is getting converted back to oxaloacetate by the cytosolic, by utilizing this enzyme cytosolic malate dehydrogenase, where NAD plus is acting as a cofactor which involves so it forms oxaloacetate. Further this oxaloacetate is getting converted back to phosphoenol pyruvate by the action of the enzyme phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase. So this phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase requires GTP molecule, as I have explained you earlier in the TCA cycle also, so by which where the enzyme succinyl CoA thiokinase, which requires GTP molecule, here also it is indirectly, there is no ATP is supplied, so indirectly the ATP is going to be supplied in the form of GTP. So this enzyme phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase requires GTP molecule to form phosphoenol pyruvate. So the combined action of pyruvate carboxylase and phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase requires this first bypass reaction to carry out, that is formation of pyruvate to oxaloacetate to phosphoenol pyruvate. So coming to the next bypass reaction, once after the formation of phosphoenol pyruvate, it is going to be metabolized by the enzyme of glycolysis, but it is going to happen in the reverse direction. So you can see in this slide, second slide. So these reactions are near to the equilibrium under intracellular conditions. So when the condition which is going to favor the gluconeogenesis, the reverse reactions are going to take place until the next irreversible step is going to be reached. So this step is the hydrolysis of fructose 1,6-bisphosphate to fructose 6-phosphate and inorganic phosphate. You can see this is the second bypass reaction which is going to happen. So this fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase enzyme which catalyzes this exergonic reaction. You can make out here in the fourth slide, you can see here. So the fructose 1,6-bisphosphate is getting converted to fructose 6-phosphate is getting hydrolyzed, we can say. So hydrolysis is happening, supplying the water molecule. So inorganic phosphate is going to be removed. So this enzyme fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase which is catalyzing this exergonic hydrolysis reaction. So the particular presence of this enzyme determines whether a tissue is capable of synthesizing a glucose or glycogen not only from the pyruvate molecule but also from the triose phosphate. It indicates or it determines the particular reaction which is happening, or it is capable of synthesizing glucose molecule not only from the pyruvate molecule but also from the triose phosphate. So this particular enzyme which is going to be present in the liver, kidney and skeletal muscles, but it is going to be absent in the heart and smooth muscles. So like its glycolytic counterpart, it is also acting as an allosteric enzyme which participates in the regulation of gluconeogenesis. So in the case of glycolysis, this reaction which what was happened, conversion of fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, which is catalyzed by the enzyme phosphofructokinase 1. Am I right? You just recall. So this reaction is also regulatory enzyme in the glycolysis, and it is a particular key regulatory enzyme, allosteric enzyme, which participates in the glycolysis. Here fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase participates in the gluconeogenesis, which is acting as an allosteric enzyme, where you can control this enzyme in order to control the gluconeogenesis process. So this reaction you can see in this particular second slide. So see here, formation of fructose 1,6-bisphosphate to fructose 6-phosphate. You can see in glycolysis on your right hand side, phosphofructokinase 1 enzyme phosphorylation reaction is happening, whereas in case of gluconeogenesis, fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase enzyme is involved. You are adding water molecule, and that is nothing but hydrolysis. Inorganic phosphate is going to be removed. Clear? Now, so what is going to happen once after the second bypass reaction? You can see the third bypass reaction of gluconeogenesis, that is nothing but formation of glucose by hydrolysis of glucose 6-phosphate. So this is going to happen, the formation of glucose 6-phosphate, the fructose 6-phosphate generated by the fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase is readily converted back to glucose, readily converted into glucose 6-phosphate, and then glucose 6-phosphate further to glucose. That is, in most of the tissues you can see this particular pathway ends here. Gluconeogenesis pathway, that particular third bypass reaction which you can come across here, free glucose which is going to be generated here rather than the glucose 6-phosphate which is processed in some other fashion to form glycogen. So you can see, you can make out in this slide where you can come across this formation of glucose molecule from glucose 6-phosphate. In glycolysis, you can see on your right hand side of the slide, exokinase enzyme phosphorylation reaction is happening, that is glucose to glucose 6-phosphate. Here back, that is in case of gluconeogenesis, glucose 6-phosphate back to glucose, that is catalyzed by the different enzyme glucose 6-phosphatase. Here also you are undergoing hydrolysis, you are adding water molecule, removal of inorganic phosphate is going to happen. So these are the three bypass reaction which is going to takes place. I'll repeat it once again. First bypass reaction is nothing but combined action of pyruvate carboxylase and phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase enzyme. That is nothing but formation of pyruvate oxaloacetate phosphoenol pyruvate. Then shuttle, it is going to shuttle malate is going to be shuttled, then it is going to form oxaloacetate back, again phosphoenol pyruvate. So then second bypass reaction until formation up to formation of fructose 1,6 bisphosphate, the continuation of the glycolysis is going to be happen until it reaches to your irreversible reaction of glycolysis, right? So this fructose 6,1,6 bisphosphate, now it is continuing in the gluconeogenesis, that is nothing but formation of fructose 6 phosphate by catalyzed by fructose 1,6 bisphosphatase enzyme, that is hydrolysis is going to happen. Next fructose 6 phosphate back to glucose 6 phosphate, again continuing in the glycolysis. Then once it reaches the reversible reaction of glycolysis, that is glucose 6 phosphate formation, so it is undergoing again hydrolysis, that is catalyzed by glucose 6 phosphatase, again it forms glucose molecule with a removal of inorganic phosphate. So you have seen till now, that is the third bypass reaction of gluconeogenesis. So to keep this glucose inside the cell, we are going, that particular free glucose which is going to be generated is controlled in two ways. Which are all the ways which we can control this? First is the enzyme glucose 6 phosphatase, which can be regulated, and second the enzyme which is present only in the tissues, which is responsible for the conversion of glucose 6 phosphate into metabolic, that is to maintain the blood glucose level. In order to maintain the blood glucose level, that is homeostasis, tissues which release the glucose into the blood. So these tissues which that is includes in the liver and to a lesser extent in the kidney, the enzyme which is going to be absent in the muscle and the adipose tissue, which we can come across this in presence of these enzymes in the liver and to a lesser extent in the kidney, but it is going to be absent in the muscle and adipose tissue, so which therefore cannot export glucose into the bloodstream. So one advantage to end the gluconeogenesis process is that glucose 6 phosphate molecule, unlike free glucose molecule, which cannot diffuse out of the cell because it is bound by phosphate group at the 6th carbon atom, phosphorylated form, so it cannot diffuse out of the cell. So formation of this glucose mainly by the hydrolysis of glucose 6 phosphate, what we have discussed, we can see now. So this is going to happen mainly, that is the final step of this particular reaction. So this reaction which does not take place in the cytosol, rather glucose 6 phosphate is transported into the lumen of the endoplasmic reticulum. You can see here, first glucose is going to be in this slide, you can see here. First, this glucose 6 phosphate molecule is going to be transported into this lumen of the endoplasmic reticulum, where it can hydrolyze further to glucose by catalyzed by this glucose 6 phosphatase enzyme, right? Say this glucose 6 phosphatase which is bound to the membrane. So this is mainly associated with the calcium binding stabilizing protein that is essential for this phosphatase activity, right? That calcium binding protein which is responsible for the phosphatase activity, this glucose and inorganic phosphate which is formed, right, by the which is undergone hydrolysis, so is further shuttled back to the cytosol by a part of the transporters. You can see here GLT1, GLT2, GLT3. So these are the glucose transporters which you can make out in this across the cytosolic lumen of the endoplasmic reticulum membrane and the cytosolic side. So you can see this glucose and inorganic phosphate, how it is getting transported or shuttled with the help of this transporter molecules, right? So this glucose transporter which you can see in the endoplasmic reticulum is like that found in the plasma membrane also. So where you can see the overall look of this gluconeogenesis process in this. So as I told you just in the few slides, so we can focus mainly, have a overlook on this particular three enzymes, especially those are three bypass reactions, that is pyruvate kinase reaction which is bypassed by the enzyme pyruvate carboxylase and phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase, and next enzyme is phosphofructokinase 1 which is bypassed by fructose 1,6 bisphosphatase, and third bypass reaction is exokinase reaction wherein synthesis of glucose molecule which we can come across or observed, which is bypassed by glucose 6 phosphatase enzyme. So in this slide you can make out one side glycolysis is happening, another side gluconeogenesis is happening. So you can make out in this gluconeogenesis process which are all the enzymes, four enzymes especially, and in glycolysis also other steps which is going to be a reversible reactions which will continue until the irreversible reaction of glycolysis is reached. The gluconeogenesis is going to happen same like that until reaction which is going to be irreversible step which is going to be reached. Then your gluconeogenesis enzyme comes to the picture and will act upon that particular molecule which can get converted into its end product metabolite. Thank you.